Okay, you get going. Let the boys know.
Is that Joe?
Yeah, it's true.
It's
Alright, so
Joe.
yes, for vintage, Phoenix for round one is up. Mike, you're playing Melvin.
Then Joe take over you. So Joe will
Gary,
play
you're
as
playing
Melvin.
Jean, and Keegan, you're playing Wee.
Then you just stay here. Then we just take the top.
Oh yeah, because
We're
Mark
taking
pair
Mark
me
and
and him
Melvin.
together.
Yeah, yeah. So next round you just stay here. Then Joe will play in your place.
Oh yeah, correct, correct.
Yeah.
Can.
Keegan. Keegan, I believe, right? Hi everyone. So this is Ben, and we're about to begin our SCG game night coverage. No, sorry, this is not SCG game night. I'm sorry. This is the vintage playtest night at Grey Oak Games. I have my friend and neighbor, Ruben Sim,
Hello.
next to me. And yeah, we're gonna have some vintage tonight. I think we're watching Mike play Melvin. Melvin's the guy on the left actually, so we should probably change that.
What kind of what are the popular decks usually
Popular
seen
decks.
in vintage?
I think it really got shook up with the last restriction. So the popular the deck, the kind of bogeyman in the format now is the mentor deck. You know?
Oh.
So it involves monetary mentor, cantrips, and just broken cards.
Okay.
Blue cards, force of wills. So it's the closest thing that a lot of like legacy and modern players would have to something that they're comfortable with. Is just kill condition, card drawing. That. So it plays a lot like any like legacy delver deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without the delvers, of course.
So you just protect the mentor as it grows
Yeah.
your board, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah, so you have Mental Misstep. The card is banned in Legacy. It counters a spell with exactly mana cost 1. And so that's really good at protecting your mentor from like swords or bolts or stuff like that. It's got Gush, which is a card that's also banned in Legacy for good reason. It's a card that lets you, return 2 islands to draw 2.
okay.
And so that's a kind of engine,
Oh,
you
yeah.
play Gitaxian Probe and stuff like that. And it overwhelms you pretty quick. And it goes wide, so you can't really like solve it with traditional solutions like Jace, Mind
Yeah.
Sculptor, bouncing and stuff like that. Yeah.
Targeted removal doesn't really
Yeah.
do
So
well.
they're deciding who's playing first. And, guy brown sleeves, he has to be playing a brown deck, right? He has to be playing a workshop deck. Yeah, go ahead. And so Mike on the right looks to be playing. Yeah, he's playing a brown deck. So he's got, the hand it looks like Ancient Tomb, double Revoker, a Mox, and a Smokestack. So he's playing a bit of a lock base workshop variant.
Okay.
So you may have seen. Yeah, sorry. go
Yeah.
ahead.
How does that kind of deck usually
So,
win?
I mean, like anything in Vintage, they're all trying to break, symmetries, right? So the symmetry that we're used to in Magic is that you can only lay 1 land a turn.
Mm-hmm.
So to break that symmetry, they're playing with a card called Mishra's Workshop, which adds 3 mana of any color, 3 colorless mana. But this mana can only be used to play artifacts. So that's the brokenness that's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, and as a result, he plays only artifact creatures and artifact spells, and he plays cards that attempt to lock out your opponent from playing the game. So they're spells that make your opponent's spells cost more, or both your spells cost more, which is fine because your lands make 3 mana and the opponent's lands make 1. And he plays, actually mainly that kind of card, as well as Smokestack, which is a card that makes you sacrifice permanents based on the number of counters on it.
Okay.
And so the aim here would be to get it out early, and because you can cast more spells because of your mana advantage, or cast more permanents, you're able to get a hit on the board and then, win this kind of sacrifice race.
Does he play?
So he's mulled to 5, I think, in search of something. Mulled to 5? 5, in search of, a land that makes more than 1 mana. But he leads with good old Mutavault for Phyrexian Revoker in the dark, without any knowledge of what Melvin is playing. But they are probably friends and they probably know.
Yeah.
So, keep your friends close, your enemies closer, right? Melvin leads off with Misty Rainforest. So that is a pretty rare land because if it's a 4-off, then it means that he's playing a deck that has a forest in the sideboard. And the reason why he has a forest in the sideboard is so that he can play the green artifact removal spells. Because as you can tell with his blue-black duo that's in play, blue and black is not very good at getting rid of artifacts. So blue and black. He has a
Duress.
duress. I disagree with his choice of duress, obviously, being me. Yeah. So duress preordain could be any number of spells, but I think that's a gush in his hand as well as a second Misty Rainforest. So I think he's playing Doomsday, and that's a taunt off the top for Mike, which is very very good. Means he has disruption in the form of the thorn, making his opponent's spells cost one more, and he has a clock in the form of the Revoker as well as the Mutavault. So yeah, yep. And Melvin has the signature card of his deck, Doomsday, in his hand.
What does the Doomsday do?
Okay, so it's I don't think we have enough time this game to explain it, but briefly, what it does is that you exile your library, and you exile your library and you pick 5 cards. You shuffle your graveyard into your library, and you pick 5 cards, and then they become your deck, the remaining cards in
Oh,
your deck,
okay.
and the rest are exiled, and you lose half your life rounded up. So
Those
it's
5 cards need to win you the
yeah,
game.
yeah. So usually they usually set up a deterministic. It's almost always going to be deterministic line to win the game from that position. And so now he's fetching and playing Preordain. I think he's going to 14.
So it seems that the blue-black player has a lot of disruption in the deck.
Yeah,
Hand disruption.
Hand disruption, forces. So the deck actually
Just to
plays a lot.
buy
Like,
time for his.
it plays a lot like a control deck, and then has a combo kill. Because the idea here is that most of the interaction in Vintage is on the stack. Yeah. So he might rips a Wasteland, which is basically Time Walk, because his opponent can't play spells without paying one more. So setting him back a land is similarly painful. I think Melvin's on 10. He draws another Wasteland. Not bad for a 5 card
Yeah.
hand. Yeah, I mean, it's a 5 card hand is great if you can tutor everything, right? Which would you have more, Ruben? Would you rather have a hand with 7 cards, or just be able to tutor every turn?
I would rather tutor every turn.
So,
for sure.
at what level would you start? How many cards in your hand will you start with to pay for that ability? Will you play a game where you had a 2 card hand and then you just tutored every turn? At some point you lose and so Melvin's playing Ancestral Recall. Just a reminder to everybody, it's a playtest session, so playtest cards are allowed, even though you're strongly encouraged to support your local store and purchase some of these lovely cards. As you can see in Melvin's hand, a lot of cards are rendered redundant by Mike's strategy. He has Flusterstorm, which only interacts with instants of sorceries, of which Mike has straight 0.
So the game is ended.
The game is
really
over. Yeah,
quickly.
yeah. And I think Mike has all of one mana cost card in his deck. So Mental Missteps is a blank as well.
Seems like
Yeah.
a rough start for Melbourne.
It is a rough start. And I think that's textbook how the game goes in game 1. So what Melvin's looking to do is to remove all of his cards that interact with only instants of sorceries or 1 mana cost cards, and in exchange for cards that can return artifacts to his opponent's hand, or like the blue-green card he's looking at, Trigon Predator, eat artifacts for a living.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Are you familiar with that card? It's a
No.
It's a
not
3
really.
mana 2/3 flying, and when it deals combat damage to a player, you get to destroy target artifact. Yeah, so it's really good. And I mean, in this matchup, all you're really looking for is to lay lands and to blow up your opponent's artifacts.
Does the brown deck play Mastico
deck?
by any
Awesome.
chance?
No. It used to. I think in days gone by,
Mhm.
but I think now for 4 mana you can get a lot better.
Oh,
You can
okay.
get Lodestone Golem. You can get. Yeah. And Mastico is great. Was great. Super good in any format that is dominated by creatures. But despite Monastery Mentor being a huge presence, you're right. Maybe they should play Mastico.
Good.
Can block Mentor and regenerate.
Yeah, and ping the dudes.
Ping the dudes. All about pinging the dudes here at Grego Games. You can see some awesome sideboard cards in Melvin's deck. But the ones that are going to be relevant to us tonight are going to be... I can't see. Energy Flux. Not a nice magic card. Do you know what Energy Flux does?
Energy Flux? No.
It's an enchantment you cast for 3 mana.
Okay.
All artifacts gain upkeep of 2 colors or sacrifice
Wow.
this artifact.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So
That does not spell fun.
if
for
you're trying to have fun
Yeah.
playing this game, you know, although our store is a very fun place to be,
Yes.
and in spite of all the fun we have here, Thursday night vintage might not be the best.
Brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah, these guys came to play. You know, it's 2-footed tackles in football. It's
Yeah.
you know
Are there a lot of
swearing
the
at your mother.
prison type decks in Vintage?
Yeah. Actually, the brown archetype is largely a prison deck and a aggressive deck. Secondary to that, especially with the loss of Lowstone Golem, they couldn't do the half and half. Lowstone Golem was both a threat and a prison piece. So now you have to get a little bit more prison, so to speak. Yeah. Orange or brown is the new black.
Is it really bad?
Yeah. It's a very interesting choice of playmats. I mean, right now it's shuffle cam time, so
Yeah.
talk about something other than vintage.
Well, which playmat do you like more?
I mean, I think I would make a lot of people uncomfortable with the one on the left, so I think I would stick with the one on the right. But if you're the kind of guy who likes to make people uncomfortable, that could very well be a thing. Yeah. How about you? What do you think? Do you use a playmat?
Yes, I do.
What playmat do you use?
I really like the art from End Hostilities,
Okay.
where this Jeskai monk blows up
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
Madu
He's
horses.
doing some crazy Bruce Lee
Yeah.
level, or Wing Chun level.
Yeah, Wing Chun level.
yeah.
kinda thing.
This guy,
So-
he looks like he enjoys his women, as most of us do. Not that you should or shouldn't. It's up to you.
The-
Entirely up to you. This is not a.
The art on the playmat on the right seems quite familiar, is it?
It's from Godless Shrine. It's from one of the
Oh,
new
okay,
Godless
yeah.
Shrine. Yeah.
The white black.
The white black shockland.
Yeah.
So do you play any modern at all, Ruben?
Barely.
Barely. Okay.
Barely. I've had a small run in with a
Run in.
Boggles deck. I played it for a couple of games.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
the guys who put you up to that. So.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I
So.
surprisingly enjoyed it.
Oh yeah. Non-interactivity. Maybe vintage is for you.
Huh.
Yeah. Maybe vintage is for you.
Base stickers
Yeah.
and beat face.
Yeah. So I think Melvin had a hand with Basic Forest, which is always a good start because basic lands are premium in this matchup because of the high amount of wastelands and stuff running around in the opponent's deck.
So it
But
dodges the
It
land
dodges
hate.
wasteland. Yeah. But you can't dodge Strip Mine, as I found out when I played against Mark a few weeks ago. You can't dodge not drawing lands. So, yeah.
I don't think there are many ways to dodge not drawing lands.
Yeah, it's true. Just put some lands in your hand, in your pocket.
In your sleeves.
That'll be interesting. Yeah. So the other games that are going on are quite interesting. We have a friend all the way from Washington, Seattle, Washington, who's here for the first time. So we don't know what's going on there. There is a Delver versus Storm matchup, and then there's a Storm versus. It could be a Storm Mirror.
Oh,
So it's very stormy tonight. Yeah,
probably a lot of
yeah, better get your umbrellas.
dark clouds.
So they both keep their 6-card hands, and Melvin leads off with, Mystery Frost, which is one of the best ways to lead off because they don't really have a way to interact with your land fetching, unlike Legacy where they can stifle enemies that he can't attack your lands because he'll just second response. So Mike has Mox into Terrarium Academy, a glorified island at this point. He is
And
Fire Extinct
another
Revoker.
revoker.
Yeah, which unfortunately or fortunately for depending on how you look at it, can't name lands. So that's good. Melvin has a Mox, which is good. It's good for his mana development.
When he has a basic forest.
And I think Mike is really afraid of Trigon. So here's an example where the dual land is so powerful because if Melvin goes for a basic island now, then he can't cast any of his black spells, right? Because he has 3 mana sources that don't make black mana at all, and in a deck that wants to resolve a 3 black sorcery, you have a bit of a problem doing that. But Trigon might as well win you the game. So let's see where Mike goes from here. He needs Dismember, possibly a Ensnaring Bridge if he's running that version of the deck. or Phyrexian Metamorph to copy the Trigon and block. But it doesn't seem like any of these things are present. So
I think he's in a pit.
yeah,
He's in a bind.
I did see a Doomsday in Melvin's hand, so there is a bit of a concern if he does manage to get that Trigon off the table.
Are the new Phyrexian cards, like Dismember and Probe, are they the most splashed cards ever?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think every sideboard of any brown deck, or most sideboards of any brown deck have some form of Dismember, and I think almost every blue deck in this format currently plays some form of, some form of Cataxian Probe. So yeah, and every blue deck plays Mental Misstep. So you're right to say that, it's all about breaking 8 symmetries, right? If you can play spells for free, you can add 3 mana to your mana pool from one land, it's as Mike is showing with his Tolarian Academy doing a lot of work. Yeah, but maybe work is not enough. Yeah, they might need a rules person to interpret Smokestack. Mike is a fan of pretty looking cards, as are you, Ruben, from what I've been told.
I've
You dabble.
started to collect foil lands.
Yeah.
But standard only.
Standard only? Okay.
Standard
So
only.
it's not really a trip to the bank yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Hopefully you stay
Just
that
some
way.
coffee money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Melvin's attacking, and now he has the wonderful choice of deciding what to blow up on his opponent's side of the table, and he's going after the mana. That is interesting, but it could be the right call actually, because if in some way, shape or form Mike is able to not play any more permanents, then he gets locked under his own Smokestack. The concern now for Melvin, and why is he paying 2 for this?
Is there a...
There's no resistor in play. But, you can't stop anyone from tapping extra mana when they cast a spell. That technically is in the rules, If he misrepresented it in any way, that would be illegal, but... So he's casting Witchbane Orb, which is enchantment, 4 mana enchantment that gives you hexproof.
Okay.
And then it removes all curses from you.
Oh.
So it was on the original Innistrad where there were curses. And the idea here is that I guess it shuts off a Tendrils kill from Melvin's side of the table. Interestingly enough, Melvin sacrificed his Mox Sapphire, which is problematic given that he then drew Dick Through Time. But now he gets to attack with the broken Trigon Predator and free up the Nature's Claim that's in his hand. Nature's Claim destroys target instant target
instantly
artifact.
destroys target artifacts. Right?
Artifact or enchantment your opponent gains 4 life, or its controller gains 4 life. So in a pinch you can kind of shoot your own stuff and gain some life. So Mike's going up to 2 with the Smokestack, trying to grind Melvin out of permanence. But I fully expect a Nature's Claim at the end of turn to get rid of the Smokestack. Well, the first Smokestack at least. Yeah.
So the Smokestacks continues to destroy anything that it's...
So Smokestack is a card that says at the beginning of your upkeep you may put a suit counter on Smokestack, and at the beginning of your upkeep you must sacrifice permanents equal number of suit counters on Smokestack. So as the controller of Smokestack, you can choose when and how to stack it.
Okay.
So you always sacrifice 1 less than a number if you want, unless it's been on 1 already. And that's another way that you can kind of cheat with Smokestack, right? Because you can always sacrifice the Smokestack to itself after you've eaten one of your opponent's permanents. But Melvin quite rightly goes after the Smokestack, and I think so long as he stays ahead of losing to the one Revoker that's left, he should be fine in this matchup. He doesn't draw another land.
Is Mike in a difficult position now because his
I
hand
think
is
he's
stripped, or
yeah, his hand is just 1 Womb Coil, and even if he resolves the Womb Coil, which he probably won't because they're probably forces and ways to interact on the stack. He's quite a ways away from that, and he's slowly getting his mana worked on by the Trigon.
yeah.
Because the Trigon's just chomping away at the artifacts in play, reducing the effectiveness of... but he rips this member, which might prompt a response from Melvin. No! Oh.
Oh.
And this is the problem with fetching basic or having a basic forest, is that it doesn't let you cast Gush, which he has 2 off in his hand and can't do anything about. So frequently in this matchup, you see people side out the combo and just go for like a Trigon plan, or parts of the combo and go for a Trigon plan. You see, Melvin has revealed one of these awesome cards against Mike, which is Energy Flux.
That's the one that will
Yeah,
make him pay dearly for
Yeah.
all of
So
his artifacts.
it's fun. It's some people's definition of fun is that you have to pay extra mana for everything you own.
Well, a long time
Governments.
ago, I played Rising Waters,
You play right? Really?
and it was fun only for me.
Only for you, because you had Gush and stuff like that.
Yeah,
You could continually lay lands while your opponent was frustrated.
and I could tap all my artifacts to capsize and buy back his
Oh
stuff.
wow, okay. So you're going old school. You could capsize, buy back the Rising Waters, and untap all
Yeah.
your lands. I see you're made for vintage. You're cut out for vintage.
But it was really young though. It was a long time ago.
So another added benefit of Mishra's Factory, which you don't have in play here, but you have Mutavault, is that it is an artifact. So you can actually attack with Mishra's Factory, or transform Mishra's Factory, and then have it count as an artifact for like Tolarian Academy and stuff like that. Or sacrifice it to Arkbound Ravager. So he's playing Gitaxian Probe for life, because he's, played a Preordain prior to that. And I think he's going to play Divining Top. And he can't be at too high of a life total, because he's been getting attacked over and over again by
By the Revoker.
by the Revoker and possibly the...
How often does new cards
Do new cards,
change
yeah.
the
Oh,
mana
so Mike
game
rips
of-
Tango Wire, which is, I think, warrants some kind of interaction on the stack now for Melvin, because if not, he's just going to get locked down.
Mhm.
So Tango Wire is a Fading 4 enchantment. Fading was the old
Black Student
keyword
and all
for
Yeah.
keyword for vanishing, which is also, it's you don't have, it's much like your friends, you don't have them forever. Most friends. Yeah. So Force of Will
that. Force
keeps Melvin
Wow.
in the game,
tosses a dick through time.
pitching a Dicture Time, and then Mike's gonna crash in for 4, putting him down to, we can't actually see the life totals. We should fix that next round.
Yeah, we'll fix that definitely next
Yeah,
round.
with someone's smartphone or something. They're smartphones for a reason, right? But yeah, so I think Melvin's in a bit of a spot here, and this is how the brown deck attacks you. It reduces the amount of time you have to play the game by having creatures that attack you, and it reduces the amount of mana you have to play the game by casting more resistors. It doesn't play like a traditional vintage deck where it is trying to get more cards than you, or to
Mhm.
make sure you don't get more cards than them. And so it accrues its card advantage by rendering a lot of your cards quite pointless, as you can tell with the 2 gushes in Melvin's hand. I'm not sure he has a very viable line here. He's
I
probably
think he has to keep using the top to dig.
to look for lands, I'm guessing, because if he can resolve that Doomsday with a life total that he's comfortable with. I know he has an Underground Sea on top of his deck. So what he should be doing here, and I'm gonna go into, he needs to tap the forest or the island possibly, and draw the Underground Sea on top of his deck. But that will only help him get to 2 black mana. So he needs to lay a land this turn. And so he can get to 2 black mana. No, okay, well, that's fine. Yeah. He needs to fade a wasteland from Mike. And then he needs to gush next turn to return the Underground Sea to his hand, float black,
And then
and
play it
replay again
Yeah.
to get the 3rd black, and then to so he's gonna spin the wheel. So he's gonna so he has to win this turn because he can't afford to Doomsday next turn. I'm assuming his life total is low enough, so he has to float black and then cast a gush and hope that that's good enough. So he needs to find a free source of mana.
Yep.
Black Lotus. And even then, if he finds a free source of mana, he needs to find a way to draw the cards on top of his deck. So he finds the Lotus.
Oh.
Yeah. And so Mike with the Soul Read. And that's game, yeah. And you can see how Melvin's deck would have been really good in the blue mirror. Because he has a
Yeah.
bunch of like interactive spells and everything. But because it's brown and it's, beating you down, it's not easy to keep up with that. So hey, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next
Round. We'll fix the life total.
We'll fix the life total thing, and as well as maybe showcase some Magic that is a little bit more about playing Magic than stopping your opponents from doing so.
Hopefully. Let's find a matchup that does that.
Yeah, let's try and look for a matchup that does that.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We'll be back.
This one, right?